Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another live stream. Marvelous. And what is different about today's live stream? We have a guest. And that guest is Jura Rose.
It is. It's me. Did you miss me?
It's you. Did I miss? No, I rarely miss.
Oh, come on.
But I talked to you like 2 minutes ago, man. I was talking to you backstage, man. What do you mean? Do I miss you?
Well, everyone else misses.
I do talk to you every day, don't I?
Every day. We are literally, well, most days like a husband and wife. But to be fair, most husband and wives don't want to talk, so I'd say, what are we?
That's right. Mates. Do you know what I mean? People who actually like each other, unlike husbands and wives.
I know.
It's an unusual prospect. You know what I mean? I've got an itchy knee. Hold on, I'm just putting some Savlon. I think I've been bitten. I was at my friend's house today putting together a blower. Do you know a leaf blower?
A blower.
Blower.
You were blowing your friend. What?
I was not. I did actually blow my friend once or twice. She was very annoyed. She screamed.
Oh, God.
And I was like, "Oh, shut up!" I didn't say "shut up" at the time because she was on her high horse, being outraged, and I was just sitting there laughing at her because she was raging. This is me new thing. I'm just gonna laugh now because she knows what she's doing. I know what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
Is this the one? Cut the grass for, clean the patio.
Didn't cut the grass for, but I have offered to cut the grass. But I did clean the patio. I'll tell you something. That wasn't necessarily a fucking act of charity. I had the time of my life. Them fucking power washers, right? You can lose yourself. It's a great way to spend an afternoon. That.
Yeah, you're just sort of like, especially on if you're on bricks, you sort of meticulously go, on the outside to kill the moss, the gap,
yes.
And then you're on the actual brick, and you can see the change. It's like, yeah, it's therapeutic.
Oh, it's very therapeutic. Honestly, hours of fun. Have you ever seen? There are games, where you can play pressure washer, and you can actually go around pressure washing stuff. It's amazing.
Would you do that in VR, like a VR pressure washer?
Oh, I never even thought of that. That's genius.
That is.
I would do that in VR. I would do that in VR.
I know. Did you trim her bush too?
No, she got the council to come and do that.
Trim her bush.
She gets the council to come out and trim her bush. I mean, there's a lot of them. You know what I mean? So the taxpayer pays for our bush to be trimmed. You know what I mean?
That's brilliant. You can get that here.
See the fucking size of our fucking hedge. It's massive.
Oh.
But it's not anymore. They came out and they cut it right back. Honestly, it made a huge difference. She was raging about these conifers out the back, and they must have grown a good 25, 30 foot in the air. They're like the size of a 2-story house. They're fucking huge, right? And the insects that they harbour. You know what I mean? You go around the thing and you can see them buzzing around. They're raging little shits.
Especially flies. Anything.
What?
Anything with any pine-scented bush, shrub, tree, the flies they attract is something else.
What we need is like a flamethrower, but you did get a blower, so I could modify the blower with like a fucking blowtorch on the end. Maybe it's a bit of fucking napalm or something like that. It's fucking, it's outrageous. Well, we should really talk about fragrances, because I complain about people not wanting to talk about fragrances on fragrance streams. So it would be ideal for me to introduce a fragrance at the minute, which I will do. Hold on. That is some fucking delightful water. I found that the Co-op do 5 litre bottles of water for £1.50. Alright. So every time I go to the Co-op, I buy 2 of them. And it's fucking Co-op stuff, so I mean the fucking the quality's there, do you know what I mean? Because the Co-op's quite good. Although I did have a lasagna from the Co-op tonight, and it was cold and it was oily as fuck. And I was like, no, that is not it. That is not it. Had a banana sandwich after though to cheer us up, because there is nothing that can't be solved by a banana sandwich. Anyway,
go on then.
Here we are.
Show us what you got.
My scent of the day. I'm just going to reapply because it's not the world's longest lasting fragrance. So reapplying at 8 o'clock at night. It's not a good idea with a lot of fragrances, but this one should be okay. My scent of the day has been Pour Monsieur Eau de Parfum by Chanel.
I like that
a Jacques Polge special from 1993, 4, maybe. I know the original Cologne Concentrate came out in 89, right? So when did the Pour Monsieur EDP kit come out? It came out in 2016. That is a considerable discrepancy.
Really?
This may very well be an Olivier Polge then.
Okay, you sure it hasn't been like reformulated in the because you're looking on Fragrantica?
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? I am looking on Fragrantica. You're right. It's a good call. It's a good call. I'm gonna look. I look on Parfumo. Pour Monsieur Chanel Eau de Parfum 2014 apparently, but the original Cologne Concentrate, which was the original version of this, came out in 1989, and it smells a lot. It smells a lot like Tiffany for Men.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever smelled Tiffany for Men.
I think you sent me some actually, but I can't remember how it smelled.
It's like this. It's like this, but it's not exactly the same. It's that had a little bit more citrus in, and I think I've got the Cologne Concentrate as well. I'm just waiting to use this up first. This is extremely nice.
I prefer that EDP to the EDT. I've tried the EDT a couple of times, but there's a smoothness for me in the EDP I much prefer. I think there's some vanilla or something in the base.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It's got this vanillic. It's less citric, less citrusy and sharp, and it's more round. And the vanilla goes with the lavender really well, and it gives this kind of round, smooth, not chalky, because sometimes lavender can be a little chalky for me. It provides this kind of smoothness. It reminds me of Aberdeen Lavender by Creed, which I think might be a rip-off. Like, I mean, Creed, fuck off of your fucking. Which also, I mean, do you know when Mar Liberté came out by?
No, I do not.
When Mar Liberté came out by, what do you call them? Give us a second, we'll have a look.
Who?
How have you been?
Number 2.
Yeah, it's Mar Liberté came out in 87. So the next version of this came out in 1989. So they would do it, and Tiffany came out in 89 as well. So they were all doing this kind of, they were doing this citrus opening, lavender, vanilla thing in the base. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there was.
That's very Guerlain because you think like Jiki, even a sense like, yeah, for me, like Jiki, it's that sort of lavender animalic thing, but there is a touch of vanilla in there too, in the base, oddly enough, and that's part of the Guerlainade, if that makes sense, the heliotrope iris sort of thing. So it has been around. I'd even say the original Pour Monsieur probably had a touch of vanilla in the base, just to round things up, but this one just upped it.
Yeah. I found the original EDT was very sharp. Well, on me, I can't wear it. The whatever the lemon that they use turns to absolute death on me. It smells like a cleaning product, like a harsh cleaning product, like a bleach or some shit like that.
That's what I get from that Creed Viking cologne. When I first smelt that, it was like a mop. It was like a mop. You know, like you pour like that lavender scented stuff into your bleach to make your floor smell nice, but it had the smell of a mop too. That's why I thought it was awful.
Like an off mop.
Yeah, it's like a mop that's been used a couple of times with some lavender scented bleach. For me,
that's harsh.
Yeah, it's probably my harshest view upon a perfume. But it's not even that I'm being harsh or just trying to. That is literally what that smelled like to me, if that makes sense. It was like a photo. If they wanted to make a photorealistic representation of that smell, it worked for me. You know?
Of the mop.
Yeah, of a mop.
Outrageous. I fucking I wouldn't like this. I don't want to smell like a mop. But I did find that I do find the citrus. I imagine the vintage Paul Monsieur is absolutely stunning. You know,
Yeah.
like I imagine like the 50s, 60s, 70s version of Paul Monsieur is absolutely outrageous. But lemon sometimes does that to me. It did with it did sort of it did the same thing with a Rolfer.
Mm.
You know, a
Yeah.
Rolfer is a very citrusy creed. That I used to think they used the same ingredient. I don't know that they did, but it was exactly the same thing happened. There was like this lemon, this violent stabby lemon, and then when that dried down, it was all right because it's got a lovely oak moss kind of thing. It's like stereotypical sheepra. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, I reckon because it'd be hard to get a good old bottle of that Paul Monsieur that's
Yeah.
intact because it's so citrusy. But I reckon you could smell it in its original condition. The Osmotec, I think, have it, and because they make everything they would make it today according to the recipe when it came out
Yes.
in the 50s, and it will be exactly how it was released. You could probably smell it then how it would smell if you went somewhere like that, but trying to find it online, I think you'd be disappointed. It'd probably just turn very sour, very bitter.
Yeah, I imagine unless somebody's kept it in like a fucking like a wine cellar or something like that, you know what I mean? And it's been kept in the dark and it's been kept in the cold and it's been like I don't know, maybe you could like transport one through time and space or something like that. But I would like to visit the Osmotech. I have many questions for those people. I would take some cash and try and fucking give them a backhander to provide us with like fresh bottles of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be like, just quietly make me like a bottle of fresh Balenciaga pour on. Although I do think Balenciaga, those bottles of Balenciaga pour on I've got have kept beautifully. It's that type of fragrance. It's very deep, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
The top notes aren't particularly citrusy either. They've
Yeah, but
always lived in.
Balenciaga, you was always, I agree with you, always had that sort of plummy thing. And it's more of I don't get much citrus in that. I get a little bit of aldehydes, funny enough, like a sort of
Right?
soapy aldehyde, um,
Yeah,
but with like a sort of plummy, it reminds me of the plum note in cocoa.
yeah, yeah. It does have that kind of. It's got this kind of fruity top rather than a citrus top, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Um, and also talking about lemon, everyone's talking about lemon. The thing about lemon I struggle with, I don't know why actually. I would love to look into this. There's a certain note to a lemon because lemon's got there's a lot of facets to a lemon oil, but there's a certain part of it that smells a bit like weed.
Okay.
You know, if you've smelled someone like rolling fresh weed, it has a certain pissy, pungent quality to
Yes.
it. That is,
Yes.
get that in lemon a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to know why.
Outrageous. There's. I wonder what it is. It must be like some natural terpene that's released
Absolutely.
when stuff ripens and stuff. Have you ever seen the videos of people setting things on fire with limonene?
No, I haven't. I haven't
There's
got
like
that
there's these
dark
videos. I
corner
don't
of
think that they
YouTube yet.
actually like you can. It's like an accelerant. If you squeeze the lemon rind, it's just the rind, right? It's just the rind. And if you squeeze lemon rind out in like a jet over a flame, it'll go like whoosh. Do you know what I mean? Like it will combust violently.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's so you can kill two birds with one stone. You can burn your friend's bush and get rid of all the lemon.
ah,
No,
I'll be setting fire to my friend's bush.
with a lemon.
We could just attach it to the blower. with loads of lemon rinds in like a little pouch in that, and then use a sprayer, get a flame, get a lighter or something like that, a little spark plug, and just fucking set yourself away. That would be a good idea. Dispose of the lemons and kill the bush.
Yeah.
All about destroying the bush. Pardon?
It would smell good too.
No, it wouldn't smell good, no. Although you would get like a lemony, piney sort of fragrance. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Well, that'd be a bit like Arso by Perfume and Aroma, wouldn't it? A bit of a burnt pine.
A burned pine. I like the sound. I like the sound of that. I really do like the sound of that. A burned pine. I've got Arso, actually, and I rate it quite highly. It's the same as Feeling Agile. I rate that very highly as well.
Interesting.
You know,
it's a terrible name for a fragrance, but I know it means burnt in Italian. But you know,
Arso. Up the Arso.
Yeah, what are you wearing, Arso? Sorry, what do you call me?
That's right. That's right. What you fucking call me? Gonna get yourself knocked out. We're wearing fucking Italian perfumery. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jura Rose, I've got to say, I have these 3 fragrances in front of me. Mar Liberté de Patou, Chanel's Pour Monsieur ADP, and Creed's Aberdeen Lavender. And for me, these are all similar. They're not the same. They're all different. They're all distinct fragrances, and you could own all 3. But if I had to pick one that was the finest, and they're from 3 houses which are very decent, even though Creed is a shady house, the perfumes are they were really well made, like all of that sort of jazz. If I had to put them in some kind of ranking or order, right? What would you pick? What would you say? Just forget. You haven't smelled all 3 of these, have you? Not all 3.
What do you think I would say you'd pick?
No. What would you pick?
What, for me personally?
Yes. If you had to rank these on what you know, you haven't smelled Mar Liberté, have you?
I think I did. I haven't smelled the lavender. I would pick Pour Monsieur. I like it. But but the thing is, I've liked Chanel a lot lately. I'm really going for a Chanel phase.
I see. That's an expensive phase.
It is.
That's a fucking expensive phase, my friend. I've got to be honest, right? I'm wearing Pour Monsieur today, and if I picked one that I had to pick, I've just sprayed this, and it's fucking Mar Liberté. It's absolutely fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. It's a Jean Curliot, isn't it?
It is a Jean Curliot, you're right, yeah. It's fucking stunning, this. The bottle's amazing as well. I love I don't know, maybe the bottle's like affected me fucking me thoughts, because it's just so easy to hold and nice.
How old is your bottle?
That bottle will be from the 90s, I would have thought. We'll have a look.
Is it in good nick? The smell.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's fucking fantastic. Let's have a quick look on Parfumo. What does Parfumo say about this? We'll see. Mar Liberté.
Margie's saying she wants number 18. I have number 18. It's very nice. But it's
have you got the big one?
No, I've only got the 75 ml. But the thing of number 18, it was a weird one. It wasn't an instant love for me, because Ambrette Seed's quite metallic, and I'm not the biggest fan of metallic perfumes.
No, I'm not a big metallic perfume fan either.
But it's a really good Ambrette Seed perfume, if that makes sense. It's one of the best I know, and just some days you kind of want something like that, because it's very different. Actually, I'd say number 18 is one of the weirdest fragrances I have. It's not. For me. It doesn't feel like a Chanel. It wouldn't feel like a Dior. If it was in a niche house, I wouldn't know what niche house it would be. It's too good to be an indie. It's weird.
That's strange. So you think it's a weird? It's weird in the thing that it's weird in the sense that it's hard to categorize.
Yes, I do, but it's very good for being an Ambrette Seed.
Okay. Uh, that is just so. There's something cool about My Liberty. It's got a touch of Metallica by Guerlain to it.
It's the best
It's
name for
really,
a fragrance, and I cannot believe Guerlain used that name originally. Like,
yeah, they got sued.
exactly.
They got sued by Metallica, the cheeky bastards who shouldn't be suing anyone. That's how they became famous.
I know. They should have called it Strawberry Tart or something. Right?
Oh God, I hate that clip. If you don't know, there was a clip from a document. What was the documentary called, Jura Rose?
It's. I sent it to you. I think it was.
Yes, you did. Yes.
It's the. I think many people have watched it. There's a guy who's got him up. It's the BBC perfume. There was a 3-episode BBC perfume thing, and I think it's the first episode. It follows Guerlain, and there's a bit where you show you Jean-Paul Guerlain, and he's in his house, and he speaks slow, and he's like, what did he say? Like, strawberry tart.
Yeah, it's the way he says it. It's so it gets under my skin. Do you know what I mean? It makes me cross. Strawberry tart. It's like, whoa! Stop it! You creepy old git.
He's like, it is still up my nose. The smell of the strawberry tart.
It's in my nose. I still have the smell of the strawberry tart. And it's
I kind of want to go to a Guerlain counter and just like put on that accent and that just come out of that story in front of like one of the sale associates. Oh, what do you like? I like strawberry tarts.
Well, if you rocked up to a counter, you would say, "I am a strawberry tart." Big tart. It's a weird thing that he makes a decent point in. That's what he remembers about his childhood, talking about scent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's an unusual sort of like aspect thing. I don't know if you watched the Fragrance Apprentices video yesterday, the hour-long documentary thing.
Was he in a bus?
No, you've got buses on the brain.
Wait, sorry, I think everyone's in a bus lately. I'm in like sort of days.
You're projecting.
I know.
I get messages from Jura Rose where he'd be like, "Guess what?" And I'll be like, "Oh God, what?" And he'd be like, "I'm on a bus." And I'll be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake. You are? You're on a bus?"
I love a bus.
Actually, what's your scent of the day? What's your scent of the day? Sorry?
I still talk about the buses I've seen in Newcastle. You know, the really fancy ones with like a table. I was like, oh, I want to go on that bus.
Have you never been on a bus with a table?
Not like that. I mean, that was next level bus. And it was like...
It's maybe because Ireland's so small that they don't have like a huge bus.
They do have a bus, but it doesn't go anywhere I need to go it. I need to take it. So I can't go on those. I could go on that bus just for the sake of going on the bus, but I'll probably end up in some back end little crappy Irish town with nothing in it. Then just have to wait for a bus home.
You could do it twice then, couldn't you? Surely.
Yeah.
Two buses?
Yeah, 2 buses. Little holiday, little bus holiday. Bus time.
Just get yourself a day pass and just go out. Just go out, get on the bus and go for a ride around Ireland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just make sure you've got your day pass and you'll be sound. I imagine that would be quite a nice day out for you.
Actually, it would be a nice bus ride. All the Americans, they're probably thinking, what's the obsession with buses? Yeah, it's a weird Irish thing.
A weird Irish thing. It's Irish culture, the love of buses. Everybody thinks you're into Guinness and fucking and leprechauns and 4-leaf clovers. No, it's a bus fetish.
Bus fetish. Yeah. Anyway, my scent of the day, you did ask because I'll forget. It's Eau de Glory cologne from Parfum d'Empire.
I've heard about this from DJ. DJ has been telling me about this, and I think he bought it.
Yeah, I told DJ about it because well, it was only just, I think it was put up yesterday or the day before on the website for sale, but um, we got in the tester last week, so I've tried it and I've been wearing it. It's nice. It's in talking about not long-lasting citrus colognes. It's a
Okay.
really citrus, and it's nice quality citrus in there. And what I like is not sweet. I don't like sweet citrus. You like juice,
Right.
the Capri Sun or something. I hate that. It's really sort of bitter. I wouldn't say sharp. It's more bitter, like like that sort of the pith of a grapefruit. It's got that sort of bit in
Yeah.
it, but it's got like a myrtle note in there and stuff. It's quite nice. It's not the longest lasting scent in the world. It's based on, so Parfum d'Empire, when it came out in 2003, for 2 years until 2005, they only had one scent, and that was Eau de Glory. Which, when you think of it, back then, having one perfume for 2 years for a brand was, you don't see that anymore. But because it's the 20th anniversary, he's releasing this one. It's a cologne version, but it's quite nice. I enjoyed it, especially because it's a hot day. It's
Yeah.
refreshing. But
Is it
yeah,
lemony? Be honest. Is it lemony?
I didn't get much lemon because he usually does. You've tried some of them. He's very more into his orange,
Okay.
like like a bitter orange, blood orange, grapefruit. But it's not really grapefruit either. It's for me more bitter orange, a little bit limey, maybe a bit of yuzu, that type of citrus.
Interesting. I like yuzu. Even though it's quite a lemony fragrance. I do like yuzu. Um, does it, do you think DJ will like it? Like, knowing what you know about his tastes?
I do, because he likes Corsica Furiosa, and
Okay.
if I don't, Corsica Furiosa, I get like a very bitterness in the opening. It's almost sour bitterness. It's not sweet. It's very dry and green. It's got that element. It's very much along that vein of the type of citrus sense he does. I think you'd like
Yeah.
it. And I know DJ is not like it. He doesn't really care about performance, and he's more into the smell. And I think you'd like it.
Interesting. Interesting, Jura Rose. I'm interested to smell it. Speaking, it's a new release, isn't it?
Yeah, I think last 2 days I think it was released, and it's only like a limited edition, um, which is a bit of a bummer. I hate limited edition releases.
So, speaking of new releases, just to change the topic a little bit, I was sent a picture by Bry today. Or was it you? I think it was Bry.
It was
Sent
Brian.
me a picture. Yeah, it was Bry, wasn't it? You sent it to the group chat of the new release by Léon Demadable called Patchouli Noisette. Noisette? Noisette? Noisette, I want to call it. Which is patchouli hazelnut patchouli. And it's €220, which is almost as expensive as Eugene's fragrances, who charges €240 for 100 ml,
Yeah.
whereas they charge €220 for 50 ml. Now, I got in touch with Les and Demadaba and said, "Hello, are you selling samples of this perfume?" And the lady wrote back very kindly, said, "Noisette, okay, patchouli noisette." So I sent an email and I said, "Hello, are you selling samples?" And she said, "No, I will send you a discovery atomizer thing, which I assume is a sample."
Yeah.
Um,
Like Amber Supreme.
oh, What, like that big 7 ml thing?
It must be. Because that's not, yeah, if it's a discovery, atomizers are different to the
I
usually
never even thought. Ugh. Yes. So they'll be sending one of those out. If I like it, I will. I will not use it all and give it to somebody else, and then buy it. But we'll see. It's gonna take some impressive. I mean, is that extraordinary prices? Do you think that €240, €220 for 50 ml is excessive? Is it par for the course? Is it good in context? What do you think? Talk about it for a second. I need to shut my curtains.
pricing. It is high. It's very high. For me, like Tom Ford now 50 mils private blended 244, and that to me is just they're on crack selling it for that price. For me, 50 mil for any perfume should be at least under 190, and I think 190 is pushing it. It's 50 mil. We're not talking about 100 mil of a fragrance. It has to be, I mean, something exceptionally good
Yeah,
to, you know, um, that is on the high end, I think, for a pricing of a fragrance. And I'm thinking, oof, um, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, I know people aren't into packaging and stuff like that, but if it's exceptional packaging, I think, well, the costs are going somewhere. But yeah, that's a lot of money. But I'm interested to smell it anyway because of the whole hazelnut thing and extraction. I think that's interesting just to see how that works, you know. And I'm glad it's not
yeah,
an hazelnut and vetiver because that's been done so many times now. That sort of nutty vetiver thing. You think
yeah.
fat Christian Castana is probably more. So
Vetiver Tonka.
yes, that's
Vetiver
another one.
Tonka's got that hazelnut vetiver thing going on.
Yeah. What do you think about price?
I think it's a bit outrageous. Um, it's the same perfumer as Eugene. It's the same ingredient palette as Eugene. And Eugene manages to sell twice as much for an extra €15 and still make a profit. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And like, I'm not saying that profit's evil. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be profiting, especially when making luxury goods. I just think that there's it's not helping. You know, um, it's not. What is it? It's not. It's hard to defend when I put it the way that I've put it. You know,
mm,
um, like I'm like looking at it from like the outside now, talking about if someone was to say to me, there is somebody who uses the same producer as this brand, everything's the same as this brand, except one is Leon Demadabla, the other is fucking Eugene. Um, why are they charging 4 times as much as he is? Because that's what it works out at. Because his bottles are twice the size and basically the same price, it works out at 4 times as much. It's not twice as much; it's 4 times as much. You
mm.
know, um, and it's like you work it out. If you were to do like for like, it would be €440 for it would be €440 for 100 ml. Like that's, I mean, to be honest, they're better than Roger Dove's perfumes for me, right? They're better than Arige Ladore's for me. They're better than Bortnikov's. They're better than all these other perfumes in a similar price bracket, right? But just because you can charge that much doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Do you
know?
know, it's like, so go back to Tom Ford. It depends on how you view it, I suppose. if you're comparing it to Tom Ford, which are 244, I'm talking euros now, so 220 euros, I think we're talking for the Lézard de Medal. So 244 for a Tom Ford 50 mil. Are they better than Tom Ford in terms of what's in them? Yes. So compared to Tom Ford, you're getting more value for your money. But then again, is Tom Ford a good bar to compare it with? Because they're so outrageous priced, like really ridiculously outrageously priced now.
Yeah.
And I know someone who works at my local Tom Ford counter, and even she said she's almost embarrassed to stand there
Yes.
and say, "How much is that?" And then you tell them 200. What? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's. I think, yeah. I mean, if it's really good, and I mean like, really good perfume, I think, money's, it's worth whatever someone feels it is to them, and if people like it, um,
Yeah, everybody has control over their own money. Absolutely, they do, and it's like your sort of it's your like responsibility and your prerogative what you spend your money on. Absolutely, it is, and it's worth what you think it's worth. That said, uh, like the markup must be astronomical on it. It can't cost it. I mean, 220 euros for 50 mil. I don't think that's shipped either. So you're getting 220 euros for 50 mil, and you're not paying for shipping. We'll say take that another 15 quid. So it's essentially the same as Eugene's.
yeah.
And like I'm not knocking the quality of the juice. It's the pricing. All right. And it's like it's this is the problem with like markets, but perfume market in general is that since it's a luxury product, people will always have like you'll always attract people who have got people who have got people who have got a lot of money will always be attracted to it, and these are not high prices for those people.
Yeah. I don't know if this is Les Indomables market is people really into like, I see it as like a rich, like Arab lady with a Louis Vuitton bag or Chanel shoes on, walking in and buying their fragrances. It's for me, their business is the perfume lover. Does it make sense? And they're
Yes.
usually the perfume collector, and are usually more savvy with their money. If that makes sense, they do.
I would say what their sort of, not what their gambit is, what their sort of like reckoning is in the wider context of the market. This is what Tom Ford is charging for 50. This is what Tom Ford is charging for 50 mils. This is what Roger Dove is charging for 100 or 50 mils. This is what if this is what like X, Y, and Z are charging a Riche Doré, Boltnikov, although I don't think brands like Les Indomables take them into account. And this is what we think our product is worth. In that context, they are worth what they're worth. What I'm saying is, there's another context where they're not worth that.
Yeah, it's relative.
And it's a fucking huge amount of money for a 50 ml bottle.
I mean,
sorry.
Everyone's saying about 50 mils is enough, and I agree, and that's why they appeal to a collector, because they're 50 ml size perfumes, and people love that. I see it all the time. People who have a lot of perfume never want to buy anything more than 50 mil. They go, "Oh, I don't think I'll use it." See it all the time, but the thing is, that's fine, but it could be a little less, if that makes sense. And the people who buy it, like, if they were charging 190, I think would be fair. that's still a lot of money, and it's still expensive, and that's still luxury. But I think it's more reasonable.
Yeah. I understand. I would, if it was me, right, and I was if I had to knock up the price structure, I would say 175 for 50 mil and 300 for 100 mil. Right, that's what I would charge. That's what I would say if I was going to charge that kind of money. But knowing that, excuse me, knowing that Eugene charges like a quarter of what they charge, you know, essentially, and still makes a decent profit, you know, like it to me it just smacks of like, and I'm not slating Les and Damodable, like I don't want this to come across like I don't like Les and Damodable. I've got 6 of their perfumes, they're brilliant. If anything,
I've got 2. I love them too. So
if anything, it's because I love them that I'm like I'm talking about it like this, you know. They're absolutely fucking sensational. They're some of the best perfumes on the market, and in that context, yes, they are worth you could probably charge more, you know, and people would still be interested. And in the whole context of how much they've got to pay, how much like their ingredients costs have gone up, their manufacturing costs, their fucking shipping costs, everything. Everything like that. I totally understand why the prices would have to go up from what they were. What I'm saying is that maybe they were overpriced to begin with. I'm saying overpriced.
can I just say something?
Go on.
Me, the most reasonably priced brand for what they are and everything, and I think the most honestly priced brand I know of is Andy Tower.
Yeah.
Etat Libre d'Orange are also very goodly priced. You know?
Yeah.
For 100 mil, 150 euro.
Yeah.
That's very,
yes.
I mean, and the thing is,
the creativity and the difference and the quality is spot on with Etat Libre d'Orange. There was just nothing there. I would have bought Fat Electrician if I didn't already have something like Vetiver Tonka or like Girl on Vetiver or something like that.
I agree with Brian Parfums de Imperial, the quality, because I mean, I know they're not for you, but the actual what goes into them, they're actually very good quality fragrances. Like he does use actually very good ingredients too. But like for me, Etat Libre d'Orange, the bottle design itself is one of the most expensive out there. Because if you look at the battery, it's a custom-made bottle with the Etat Libre d'Orange on one of the corners.
Yes.
That costs money. It's not like a catalog bottle. That put
the
prices up so much more. I mean, not just like a little bit, a lot more. And yet they still manage to keep it 150. And the materials in it aren't bad at all. They're not much worse than what brands are selling out there for 50 mil for what, 244. You know?
Yeah.
Andy Tower, again, he's fair. He keeps pricing for what Lait de Desert Marocain is 130 for 50 mil. It varies. Like I think the most expensive one he has is the Oud, the La Oud.
I wouldn't care. That's his worst fragrance. It's shit.
Yeah, but
it's fucking awful.
I know it's like burnt rubber to me. But he tries to everything. From what I see, every single one on what goes into it and how much he really does try. And that's why all the prices are different. You know, I think he keeps Lone Star Memories and Lait de Desert Marocain down because I think they're his most popular fragrances.
And he shifts units.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to put the prices up as much, but I think he's quite fair. And actually, he hasn't had that many price increases in the last 10 years, you know? And he's a small business doing it by himself. He has to pay for these materials, ship them to Switzerland, you know, do everything.
He's got a custom bottle.
Yeah. So if he can do it, it can be done.
Yeah. I agree. Are they, so here's a question for you, right? Do you think towers are as empirically good as Lait and Damodable?
I'd actually say For having certain scents in Tower's perfume, I'd say he is better. And that's controversial. I love Les Indomptables, but you're thinking L'air de Desert Marocain, I'm sure any brand out there in the world would die to have that perfume. It's not even my favorite
Absolutely.
perfume, but come on, it's famous for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? Just having that one scent.
Yeah.
I
No, you're
mean,
right. No,
it's not my
I,
favorite scent of his.
it's wildly popular though,
It is.
and
I mean, I Lone Star
it's.
Memory,
I love
but
Lone Star Memories.
so
I
yeah.
agree.
But the thing is, it's not just because it's the material. I mean, he's using decent material. I mean, look at La Maroc Perel, his first one. Have you seen the color of that juice? Do you know how much real jasmine absolutes in that? It's crazy. I mean, because he doesn't know, he didn't know how to make a jasmine accord, so he had to use the real thing. You know, like when you
Yeah.
spray that, it's dark because of all the jasmine. So he is using really nice quality materials in there. But for me, Andy Tower he's more artistic in his approach, and he could charge more for his what he's actually putting in those bottles artistically. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like the best artists in the world. They're still using mostly the same paints and brushes and canvas, but they charge more because what are you getting? You're getting the artist's work. He could make a case to charge more, but he doesn't.
Yeah. It's Andy Towers extremely fairly priced. Like he waited a long time to put his prices up until very recently. Um, it's it's I think the execution by Les Indomptables is better than Towers in the main as a brand. Obviously, Towers got that absolutely gigantic perfume, um, which is Led to Desert Marocain, and then followed by like Lone Star Memories to a lesser extent. Um, so I think that Les Indomptables as a brand is better, but I think that Tower pricing, Tower maybe like ingenuity, like creativity kind of thing might be better. I think you've got to remember Tower's an outsider. He wasn't inside the perfume. He wasn't educated in like
But
the ways.
that's for
Sorry?
me. That's for me is I take my hat off to Tower more to do what he's done than go for a system and just produce something almost that we've had before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more doing and passion to do something like that. And also, I have to say, because a lot of people here are saying Towers, Brian saying the bottles. I'm on record in the stream before saying what the issues are of the bottles, and no, are the bottles the best? It's not necessarily the bottles; it's the sprays he has a real problem with, and the actual cap. Where actually how the cap fits onto the sprayer. There's serious issues with that. You'd have to sort that out. But the Les Indomptables bottles are catalog bottles. It's nothing like special, out there or amazing. Tower actually has a mold and makes them. He actually gets them custom made for him. So I'd say they probably cost more than the Les Indomptables bottles. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think for me, I always like to use Tower as a good proxy when it comes to pricing, quality, comparison, because I think he's so dead center in the middle of a lot of things, whether good or bad, that you can. It's good. It's a good yardstick for me to judge.
Yeah. I think Tower sorted out his cap problem now, actually. Um, they don't leak it like what you used to have to do is just put the lid on lightly until the rubber bit, and it would stay on, and that's how you did it. If you pressed it all the way down, it would leak. it would like suppress the atomizer and it would leak. Whereas now, like the newer bottles have all got this fixed that, to be honest with you. So that is good. But the Les and Demodable, I mean, I remember when Eugene was making his brand and he was like talking about bottles and how we should do this. And I said, just do what Les and Demodable do what a lot of brands do and just make the label do the work. Get a nice bottle, a nice stock bottle, right? And a normal, like, cheap bottle, like cheap like compared to like getting your own bottle made. Like fucking Polymer Parfum did. Like that's a stock bottle with a stock atomizer with a stock cap, you know? And that's from not Almaroc, what's he called? Almarac, right? Yeah, and just make the label do the work. You know what I mean? It's the labels are cheap, but they'll do all the work if you do it right.
To be fair to Eugene, the bottle he actually got, it's actually quite. I mean, it's a stock bottle, but it's actually a nice heavy based one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, get a nice stock bottle, get a good quality stock bottle, and make the label do the work.
And the cap.
One day, you got the magnetic cap.
Yeah, that I mean, the cap is, that was made for him. That's engraved and everything. That's not like a catalog cap that he's got.
No.
Eugene, he for especially, I mean, starting out, he done very well with the bottles.
Yes.
Quite impressed.
Absolutely. Right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Keep everybody entertained for a couple of minutes. I'll be back.
Okay, whose knickers did I get in a twist? Enrique, House of Matriarch perfume. What are they charging? I actually don't know what House of Matriarch are charging. Don't know what they're charging. Sorry, I'm very quiet. I'm just reading. Yes, DJ, I know how you feel about Les and Demodable. I like two. I like Vinny Havan and Fougere Emerald. I actually really like them. They smell very perfumey to me. Look, everyone's got opinion on perfume. It's very, I would say, don't get offended by someone's opinion on a perfume. If you like it, you like it. Everyone's got an opinion. That's not a bad thing. Have I tried Havre Rouge Privé? I have not. I wanted to, but my Guerin boutique still haven't got it. Hello to everyone who's saying hello.
I'm returned. I'm going to take some medications.
Bilam is a better version of Muster Sablers to me. Interesting. Micah, I have never made that connection. I will smell them next time and see. And I love when people make connections to fragrances, because I remember, Rich, I can hear you in the background. You said, what was the fragrance you said? The Naomi Goodsir Eau de Surreal. You said it smells like Herod. And I was like, oh, shut up, you tart. It doesn't. But then I smelled it one day. I was like, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. It's interesting when that happens.
That's why I like it. Now that Micah says Bilam smells like Muster Sablers, I'm going to go away and try and smell them, and I probably will get it. Because I remember, was it Persilay said Belam smells like Reflection Man? Is it?
He
I still
said
haven't.
something outrageous, like an Amouage or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure about that."
I still haven't got that. I have smelled. I was like, is it there? Is it there? And I haven't. But I would not put it. Like one day I could smell that connection. But you can't help it. Like when you smell something and your brain is just telling you you get that. Like that's why I can't argue with someone when they smell that, because there's something they're connecting between those two perfumes, and even if I don't get it, they're getting it. So Dusan loves Liz Moores.
What's nothing? What was I going to say?
What's
No,
nothing? Very philosophical question.
Not Rien.
I love that fragrance.
It is good. I've got a bottle of that.
I do as well. We find it's quite a journey of a fragrance. Like it's intense.
Have you ever smelled the intense?
I haven't smelled the intense, but I find Rien intense.
Right.
Like it is.
I think the original's stronger than the. I think the original's stronger than the intense.
That's the interesting thing, because isn't it called Rien Intense Incense? And does that mean it's more intense, or was it just the incense is more intense?
It's intense incense, so it could just be that the incense is more intense rather than anything else.
I want to say, now that you're back, because we're talking about when it comes to like perfume and stuff like that, some people might say they hate this, stuff that. It's all very relative. Like what you like, you like. What you don't like, you don't like. No one can tell you what to like. Think for yourself. Because when it comes to because we're talking about the pricing and all that, but if someone is like, they really like Les Andes Medable and they don't see any problem in the pricing, that's fine. It's all very relative. I mean, to be honest with you, all perfume has high markups anyway. So
yeah.
If we really want to be fairly priced, I don't think any of them would be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I remember when when Brooklyn Fragrance Lover died, Christophe Lodemiel put out the
oh god,
put out the formula for Amber Absolute, and Galen, excuse me, Galen did this thing where he sort of tried to work out how much Amber Absolute cost per bottle. Like reverse engineered the price and then came up with a price of about $3.50 something for a bottle.
Yeah.
That it worked out at, and it's like how? Like the fucking cheek to then go around and charge 170, 180 euros for that perfume. You are literally paying for the name on the bottle. It's insane.
And usually, some people say you're playing for the artist. That's why perfumers hide their. Sorry, I just burped. That's why some perfumers hide their formulas. Like even if you go to like perfume school, like the teacher will hide their accords and formulas and make the students come up with their own. Like it can be very secretive within the perfume industry, even though they're copying left, right, and center, or at least trying to. But I suppose the other costs then are taken into account, like because usually if you're using a distributor, they want a massive chunk of that, and then the retailer will buy it for a certain price. So sometimes the actual company, when they're selling it to a retailer or selling it via a distribution chain, they're not going to make as much as you'd think.
Yeah. I know Eugene doesn't use a distributor.
Yeah, it's like anything. The more hands you put on something, the more the costs.
Yeah.
There's more and more middlemen, and that's where a lot of the money goes.
Yeah, I'm aware that. I'm aware of the retail stores usually pay half what they charge. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's everything before that is everything. So they like literally make 100% profit. You know,
yeah,
which is why the rise of discounters was massive. But they've been, I mean, discounters have had their balls chopped off now. That's
yeah.
quite hard to fucking. It's quite hard to take.
But Boz just said none of you would ever buy a cheapie. You joking with my tight ass? Of course I would.
Are you taking the piss? Of course, I would fucking buy a cheapie. The way
Yeah,
dear me. That's the name of the game, then, isn't it? Get as much as you can for as little as you can. That's why I've spent the first half of this stream complaining about Legend Damadaba's prices in the hope that they'll reduce their prices so I can get the same amount of fragrance for less. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
If you put downward pressure, that's the problem. You see, there's no downward pressure in luxury markets. You know, if anything, the consumer encourages higher prices, which is totally different to other markets. You see, there's no downward fucking pressure in the perfume market. There's no downward pressure in the luxury handbag market. There's no downward pressure on prices in the luxury haute couture markets. You know what I mean? These luxury fucking markets. If that's the type of shit you're into, it's the thing with the thing with the thing with like perfumes and stuff like that is that people want to flex. So it's like half the. This is why I always pay for everything because you are the price is such an intrinsic fucking part of the whole experience, right? That if you remove that by receiving free bottles or free fucking, I don't know if people get free handbags or free watches. I don't know that happens. But free bottles of perfume from these brands who are trying to set themselves up as like luxury and niche. If you're receiving free stuff, right, you can't give an accurate representation of what it's like to own that fragrance. So that you then turning around to people and saying, you should own this fragrance. I would own this fragrance. It's like, well, you do own that fragrance, but you got it for nothing. You know, like the context is completely lost. You know,
yeah,
there is no kind of fucking like worthwhile advice that someone who got this same product for free can give you.
yeah,
Because they're missing out on like one of the most intrinsic parts of the experience. You know, it's nice to get free stuff. Everybody wants fucking, like Boz was saying, you would never buy a cheapie. Like, to get stuff as cheap as fucking humanly possible is the name of the fucking game. You know, one of the fucking most important fucking things, getting as much for your money as you possibly can.
yeah. Especially because I mean, just try not to get ripped off is where you
Yeah.
where you want to be at the moment. You know. Yeah. Anyway,
It's
well, I thought you went silent then. I thought you'd put yourself on mute. I was like, "Where's he gone?"
no, I'm still here.
You stopped breathing. I was like, "Is he okay?" You're doing it again.
What?
Breathe at least. Let me know you're
I am
alive.
breathing.
Breathe
I
heavy.
keep breathing.
Let the heavy breathing intensify.
It's yeah. It's fucking
Do you know what you should talk about?
what
You
should I
should
talk about?
whip it out for everyone. You can rip out the courages for home
Oh fuck.
and tell everyone about what it is. I think that's an interesting one because I thought it was really hard to find.
I mean, it is really hard to find. The fact that I found it's a miracle. Where are you? There you are.
I think you got that relatively as a cheapie. Talking about.
Oh, I paid like $100 for it. It is cheap. It's got this. It's got like a boot. Sorry?
You got it from the US.
I did.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Go.
It's just a shame that it's ended up looking like this, to be honest.
Yeah.
The alcohol. I mean, it leaked on the way here. I don't know if you can see, and it's destroyed the label. Both the labels, which is a shame, and the atomizer doesn't work, which I knew before I bought it. So I had it decanted anyway, so it's not really that much of a problem. The fragrance is in perfect condition. But sorry, what?
How is it? Explain. Tell us all. Make us jealous.
Courageous forearm. It is a Gerard Anthony. It was released in, oh God, what year were you released in? The 80s? 70s. It's got this very vintage. I get a little bit of brute from it, right?
Mm.
I get a little bit of brute from it.
Caraway type.
Sorry?
That sort of caraway sort of.
Artemisia, jasmine, sandalwood, vetiver, basil, oak moss, probably fucking leather.
Basil?
Yeah, it's got basil in it.
Basil?
Basil! It's got basil in it. It's a fantastic fragrance. It's woody. It's a little bit floral. It's green. It's sharp. It's leathery. It's definitely an autumn and winter fragrance, in my opinion. Maybe it's even spring. Wearing this in the height of summer would be a fucking disaster. There's just no way that it could be done, you know? It's got it's got a slight bit of lift to it, though. You know, there is some kind of like it breathes at the top a bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's very clever. It's very well done, obviously by a perfumer who did Azzaro Pour Homme and did fucking Balenciaga Pour Homme, which I love, obviously, and did lots of fragrances that I love. But sorry, I've lost the stream. Where are you? There you are. It's very heavy. It's very top to bottom. You know, there's a lot of history in this perfume, and I don't necessarily mean that it's like a historic perfume. I mean that it's like, it smells very much of its time, 1977. There's the beginnings of Koros in there. It's very classical while being, and very masculine while being classical. You know, it's like a snapshot of 1977 in fragrance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll give you a decant when I get it decanted myself.
No, just when I come, because I'll come over to see you, I'd say sometime this summer, and I'll just spray it in my face. Just surprise me.
Is that what you say to all the boys? Spray it in my face and surprise me. I've also got to decant this, which is in a similar vein for me. Not necessarily the same smell, but the same sort of vibe. This is Versailles Pour Homme by Jean Desprez. This is, I mean, fucking bottle. It's such a tragedy that I've got to sort the bottle out. But
Beautiful bottle.
Sorry.
You know, talking about bottles, these old perfume. Every single bottle was made and designed for that fragrance. Well, nearly all of them. You know what I mean? There's so much love and time put into them.
Absolutely. This needs a fucking, I mean, this is really old. It's got a sticker on it saying 80 degrees. So before they started using the percentage sign.
Has it got a fax address on the box?
Has it got a fax address? This was before fax machines, Sunshine.
Oh, okay. Pigeon.
It hasn't.
It come with a pigeon or anything?
It's got a pigeon on it. It hasn't even got any ingredients on it. It's not even a short ingredients list. It's a no ingredients list. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Ramsey's ears have just, like, pricked up a little bit there, wondering, what is this hocus pocus? You know? The price was written on a sticker on the bottom, which they've torn off. I actually got a refund for this because the sprayer wasn't working. Oops. Ah, fuck. That just went right in my nose. Stupid, man.
Your face.
It's very piney. It's very, I do own a bottle of Antaeus Sport, JP. It's got this, I mean, it's very piney because I literally just put it up my nose and it smelled of pine.
Yeah.
We'll see what Parfumo has to say about it. In Versailles. That's Bala Versailles. Eau de Toilette Versailles for men. That's the Eau de Toilette. That's not what I want. Versailles. Where are we? It's the Eau de Cologne version in this, which isn't ideal.
You've seen Alan's comment.
No, I haven't.
He says it all the time, Alan.
He says it all the time, Alan. I tune into this live stream. The first thing I hear is sprayed in my face and surprised me. I'm gobsmacked. That is a Jura Rose classic. That is Jura Rose's shit. That's going on his tombstone.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It is.
I keep spilling water
I'd
on
have
myself.
a tombstone in the shape of a bus with that on it, on the side.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very...
Here lies a strawberry tart.
Oh, God.
But yes, Bala Versailles, Eau de Cologne. All right. Clary sage, green notes, lemon, bergamot, pimento, sandalwood, geranium, patchouli, cedarwood, jasmine, stone pine, carnation, cinnamon, fruity notes, frankincense, moss, musk, amber, leather, vanilla, labdanum, and styrax. Styrax, I beg your pardon. What do I think about the way it smells, considering it just went up my nose? I got stone pine massively. Carnation. I got some sage. Frankincense, but in a very tame, like a very good, like a very well fucking tamed frankincense, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like a pine.
It's gorgeous. I'll sort you out.
Yeah.
But it's got a similar vibe to. It doesn't smell the same, but it's got a similar vibe. I can't explain it to you. They're both very late 1970s, early 1980s. You know, these are exactly this. It sort of fits in with Santos de Cartier. You know, and Jura. It's that green. It's that green, piney, sort of woody, masculine fragrance that you would expect with a brown jacket and a fucking, who would expect a brown jacket with a aviators and a mustache, you know?
Burt Reynolds? Like,
Sorry?
like Burt Reynolds or something. It's
Like, but imagine Burt Reynolds, but slightly overweight,
I
like
don't think I
that.
want to, but
You what?
I don't think I want to be honest.
You don't want no blessing.
Yeah. No, I mean a lot of them old fragrances were talking about, like we was talking about costing ingredients and stuff. Actually, I think one of the most expensive perfumes to make was Chanel Number 19 when it came out. And I think the formula for that cost about 20. The equivalent now of being about €20, which is a
Yeah.
lot compared to €2 if you think. It was 10 times. The Iranian galbanum in it.
Yeah.
I think it might hold the record for the most expensive perfume formula from a major house, Number 19.
That's an interesting take. What do you think the most expensive smelling designer fragrance is?
Expensive smelling.
Yeah. What smells expensive? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, usually for me, iris always smells expensive. Anything irisy.
Okay.
Because iris has that sort of. It makes everything smell expensive, usually.
Yeah.
Hard one, because you're asking for a specific perfume here, aren't you?
Well, you can give a cluster of them if you want. You can give like a few different ones.
Nehema smelled, because Nehema's got a bit of an irisy touch to it as well. It always smelled quite expensive to me. The big rose. It smells like a very rich old lady to me. The original.
Yeah.
That to me, I mean, if I smell that on a lady, I'd say that smells expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? To be honest with you, anything Chanel Number 5 still. Actually, no, take that back. Not Chanel Number 5. I think it's just. I think it probably would have smelled expensive when it came out, but now not so much.
She used to give it away for free, you know.
Well, to the people who'd spent a lot of money on her clothes.
Yeah. Eau de Hermes as well. Eau de Hermes, that was a free perfume.
Yeah. I think Marc Anton Boar, B683 was his free perfume to, the guys that bought his suits, because he's a suit maker.
Yes, that's right.
He did
Strange
have that.
that, isn't it? People don't think of it. Marc Antoine Barr was a designer.
Yeah, he's a couturier. He makes suits.
He's a designer.
Yeah, he has a store now, a boutique in London now.
Yes, that's right. He must be doing all right for himself if he's got a fucking boutique in London. Like,
oh,
I mean,
honestly,
me.
Yeah, Ganymede is really. That fragrance sells like nothing. It's crazy, but yeah, he makes suits, and I know B6. I don't think he might offer, like, maybe if you buy one of his suits, and I wouldn't say they're cheap, he'd probably offer you a free bottle now, but you can choose any one of Ganymede, Encelade, or B683.
Yeah. See, I would never. I would. Those perfumes. I mean, while they are modern and different, and they're modern, they're different, they are new and unusual. That's not something I would ever buy. You know.
Oh no! Have you tried that Encelade yet? Are you waiting to smell it?
Fucking hell! Right, I'm not spraying it at 9:30 at night. Put it like that. But tomorrow, remind us. I'll dig it out. Was it in that fucking massive bag of samples you gave us when you were here?
Yeah, it should be easy to find. It's got a black spray lid.
Okay.
So the others are white, so it should be. It's that one.
Okay.
That's the only one I think you have tried, and the new extract, the meat extract. That has got the. It smells like it's got a massive immortelle note. It's kind of like you've been cooking a curry all day, and then to hide that smell, instead of taking a shower, you just empty an entire bottle of Ganymede on yourself.
I would just never. I would just never. Do you know if Naomi Goods is a designer?
Well, technically, she's a miller, milliner, sorry. She makes hats.
All right.
So yeah, the
Does she
story of
design
her,
the hats? Yes.
yeah, she makes
So
she
she's a
makes
designer.
hats. She's Australian, makes hats. She married a Frenchman, and then they moved to the south of France, and then he introduced her to perfume and that, and then she got into making her perfume line. So technically, you could say she's a designer brand.
I could and I would, because I'll tell you what smells expensive to me. Right, very stripped back, very pared back, very minimalist, very chic. It makes you wonder why I've got it, because all of those things are not me. But I like smelling good, and when something smells good, it smells fucking good. And this is Iris Sandra. This is fucking amazing.
It's a good iris.
That's fucking brilliant.
But I remember it was last year in Manchester, I think, I seen you, and you had just got that Iris Malacan.
Shite.
You liked the opening of, but the dry down you hated. And
Yes.
I showed you, and Audrey Jane knew it, the Bakelite. I had a sample of that.
Yes.
And I think you didn't like it, but you was interested, and you thought, okay, that's quite interesting. And then you tried out the other line. But they
I
are.
got the rest of it, because I'll tell you what happened was you smelled it in the airport or something silly like that, and or you smelled it and then you brought it across and you were like, smell this, it's a tuberose. And I was like,
it was in the shop. It was in our shop when I brought it. Well, it was in the shop.
Yeah, and I smelled it and I was like, I fucking hate tuberose. And I smelled it and I was like, that's actually quite nice. And I was like, that's an unusual thing, because I fucking hate tuberoses, and this one's quite nice. So if that's how that tuberose smells, I would like to smell the rest of them.
Yeah.
And that's how it happens sometimes. You know, you can smell something that you really don't like, and it be not as bad as you thought, and you think, well, if that's the one that I fucking hate, you know what I mean? Like, what are the rest going to be like? Unfortunately, I found that fucking, was it Eau de Sorel?
Yeah.
Eau de Sorel. I thought that was just too much for me. There's a note in there which is also in, which is also, it's not Tuscan leather, it's something else, and it's got this. It's Hyrax by Zoologist. It's this fucking shitty, pissy, fucking like animalic, but like brand spanking new car, like a dirty animal, like a wild animal's taking a shit in a brand new car, right, and pissed on it as well, just to mark its territory. That's kind of what Eau de Sorel smelled like. Eau de Sorel's the animalic horsey one, isn't it?
No, you're thinking Corpus Equus.
Corpus Equus. That's the one I'm thinking of. Eau de Sorel smells like Herod.
Yeah, that's what I was about. I was gonna say then. I was like, wow, I'm really much, because remember I was saying about people getting certain things from fragrances and not making the connection. I was like, I'm gonna go and smell Eau de Sorel tomorrow. Imagine dirty animals. I was like, okay.
Corpus Equus. Corpus Equus is the one I'm talking about. That's right.
Funny enough, the two that you don't like were both made by Bertrand Duchefort.
Well, I think fucking Bertrand Duchefort might be overrated, you know.
And the ones you own, the two that you own, were made by Julian Rasconnay.
Yes, I do like. I like Julian Rasconnay when he lays off the fucking amber words.
Yeah, do you know what the thing is? Okay, they're quite old. Both of them, I think, were made pre-2015. If you smell his Royal Oud, some of his earlier stuff, like the Naomi Goods, those two Naomi, he doesn't use amberwoods at all.
Yeah.
It's because then he went with IFF, an amberage stream is used. You know, it's a big thing in IFF, and because he's at a new house, he's been using it much more heavily. But that's before he went with them, and it does smell different. His work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you've got to remember as well, perfumers are incentivized to move molecules, to move like certain materials. So if they include certain materials in perfumes, that's how they get paid extra. So for every fucking kilo of material that gets used, he gets like a commission on that. And the biggest commissions are on the captive molecules. Do you know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is stuff like Amber Max, all that sort of crap. It's grim. I'll tell you what though. When he was at IFF, IFF made Royal Oud for Creed, right? I would fucking stake my life on it, right? Because I have this perfume by a company called Ostens, and it's called Impression Cedarwood Heart. And Impression Cedarwood Heart is the name of the material, the cedar material, right, that they use in this perfume, right? It is the exact same material that's in Royal Oud. It is the exact same material that's in Royal Oud. If you smelled this, which you will the next time you come, all right, this is, where are you? Impression, it's not going to show. Impression Cedarwood Heart, IFF LMR, right? IFF LMR is the name of the company. LMR was absorbed into IFF, and it is the fucking exact same cedar note that is in Royal Oud. Exactly the same. It's you cannot miss it. It's different fragrance apart from that cedar note. Wholly different.
Yeah.
Wholly different fragrances, but they are joined at the hip.
Yeah.
You know.
No, do you know what? I would love to smell it, and I can't disagree with you, and I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they're using, because sometimes a lot of people use bases, so it's not necessarily certain material, but certain bases they use. So like many companies like Firmenich have a lot of oud bases that actually, you know, the Louis Vuitton ouds use those Firmenich oud bases. Um, the IFF, was it Firmenich? One of those have a Mysore sandalwood base, which doesn't smell like Mysore sandalwood. It's very cedarwood heavy. But yeah, and these bases they get used a lot. The only base that I like, and it's actually a base that's been used for a long time, is Animalis. But I know you've gone off that because of Kuros.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I mean, if you want to add like all the civet notes, most of the civet notes, unless if it's not real civet, it's using Animalis, and it's not like Civetone, that synthetic civet, you know, that one material. Animalis is actually a really nice base. It's quite nice. It's really well rounded, if that makes sense. And it's a reason why it's been used for a long time. But it's a nice base. But that just adds an animalic quality to fragrance. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if that impressions. I mean, I haven't smelled it, so I can't judge. But if there is like a base used in the two of them, and it's from IFF, I wouldn't be surprised.
You'll recognize it as soon as you smell it. It's striking. You know, it's like it can't be denied. It's definitely there.
Yeah, and like everyone keeps talking about Naomi Goodsir, like Nui the Baker. Like when I first smelled that, it reminded me of you know the movie Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
I do.
So you know, like when they're all small and they're in the garden, and there's like these big flowers and big green grass. To me, it's like it's when I smell that, I get that image because it's got like this earthiness to it, but big green. Like you're not really, you can see a flower in the distance, and you can faintly smell it, but everything's really big and green. And when you spray it, it makes you feel small, if that makes sense, because it's so huge.
No, I get you. It's you can sort of be in awe of certain
And also,
certain.
yeah, it is scary. I've just seen someone said it's a scary well, it depends. But it is something like the Wicked Witch of the West from the Wizard of Oz would wear. You know, it's 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 a bit of a witchy fragrance.
Witchy.
It is witchy. For me, it's witchy. Absolutely.
That's a bit frightening, a bit spooky.
Yeah.
I'm thirsty. I'm extremely thirsty. I've done in a lot of water during this live stream. I don't know what's going on.
You've been to pee.
Sorry?
You've been to pee twice. Dehydrating, sorry.
Dehydrating, that's right. Let's keep it civil. I'm thinking of I've started wearing some of my warmer weather fragrances. I'm rotating on, I'll be rotating on Thursday, next Thursday, because that will signify the beginning of summer for me. Certainly the warmer weather. So I'm going to bring the stuff that's at the back to the front. Some of the stuff will stay at the front. We will keep the creeds and stuff like that because I think they're inherently summer fragrances anyway. Green Irish Tweed, Bois de Portugal, Original Vetiver. I think they're inherently fucking summery fragrances. But a lot of the fragrances you see before you will be going to the back, and I will be wearing more of my warm weather fragrances that I can see lurking back there. Stuff like Mugler Cologne, the Les Indemnidables colognes. I've got that Hermes Essence Santal Messiah. I'll be wearing that.
That'd be
coconut. Nice. Do you like that? Have you smelled it?
I like it, but I'm not enough to own it. It is coconut. It is coconutty, but
yeah, it's coconut. It's coconut and sandalwood. It's got this very milky, creamy thing going on.
Yeah, nice in the heat.
Absolutely lovely in the heat.
I can see you getting a bit sick of that though. The coconut, you know, it might be.
Yeah, I've got a big fucking 200ml bottle as well.
Really?
Aye, it's massive. It's a huge bottle. So I just lather myself in it. Oh fuck! I just lather myself in it like. Let's see if I can show you. There it is. There she blow. There's me Iris Nazarena next to it. That's a 100ml bottle.
Bloody hell! Sorry,
but I use a lot. I use a lot of the Santal Messiah when I use it because it's very quiet. You know, it's a very quiet fragrance. It doesn't.
Which is okay. I mean, I prefer a sandalwood that's quiet, but when it's full of synthetic sandalwoods that are really screechy, because they are, do you know, like in terms of pitch, synthetic sandalwood materials are very high pitch. If that makes sense, they're really they're near enough up there with amberwoods.
Yeah.
Like they screech, even in the top note. They're very, and it can be too much.
Yeah.
I don't mind it when a sandalwood is soft, and just let it be a bit more natural, because sandalwood oil is a soft material. You know, it's just the nature of it. It's like citrus doesn't last. Sandalwood soft. It's just, you know, embrace what it is instead of trying to
instead of trying to make it something it isn't.
Absolutely.
It's JP Music says, I remember Geranium Pour Monsieur was one of your most warm fragrances last year, wasn't it? Yes, it was, and I'm looking forward to wearing that again, to be honest with you. It was fucking perfect for the obscene heat that we had this time last year. Well, it wasn't this time last year, it was in July. But I am looking forward to that. Absolutely. There's Loewe Poram or Paraombra. What else is there? Ba, 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 ba. Kenzo. I've got a Kenzo. I think it's Kenzo Poram. Eau de Hermes. I'm looking forward to wearing Sandalwood Cologne by Elizabeth Arden, which is amazing. What else?
You should try what's that is it Angelos Creations? What was the one you tried recently?
I tried all of them.
There was a cologne type one. You should try that, the sample on skin, and see how it is this summer.
I'll tell you what I was actually really quite impressed by and still am. The new Healy.
I haven't tried that. What's it called again?
Cologne Officinale. It's very nice. It's very, very vintage feeling. I can tell you that. It's
Vintage
very
in what way?
vintage feeling. Sorry?
Vintage in what way? What vintage would you?
Oh fucking hell! What would I compare it to? It's a bit like Loewe Poram.
Oh, okay.
It's got this oak mossy lavender thing going on. Citrus, but not citrus, but not like common shitty citrus. It's got this starchy, drier sheet kind of vibe, which always takes me to like a vintage place, you know. It's dry, which is something that like you used to get in like more vintage perfumes. You would get like a dryness.
Okay.
Hello?
I like dry.
Yeah, it's dry. Apparently, one of the notes is French soap. It's got a soapy vibe to it. It's got a note called dry woods, which is just terrifying. Lavender, oak moss, basil, sage, rosemary, galbanum. I get a bit of the galbanum because it is green.
Is it aldehydic? Because you're saying
No, I wouldn't say it was aldehydic, to be honest.
It's not in a Chanel way, but you know that sort of bitter soapy quality it runs through a fragrance.
Possibly, yeah. You'd be able to tell better. You're very good with materials. You're probably the best I know as far as in like not inferring materials, but like extracting materials from perfumes. Like I trust you to do that more than anyone else.
Thank you. I don't trust myself half the time, but
that's probably why you're fucking quite good at it, like because you're not so cocksure of yourself, unlike some people who try to do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's just because I engage with my higher self. Anyway.
I wasn't necessarily talking about engaging with your higher self, although you are absolutely right. Margie has said, Rich, can you do a video on typically cold weather frags that actually bloom in the heat? You can call it beast mode summer frags. I can do that.
That's a good one.
But I'm not going to call it that. Although it's not a bad idea. Like out of place fragrances that shouldn't work but do, kind of thing. I'm looking at a few now. So yes, the dry as a duck's mouth. That's right, dry as a duck's mouth. Gris Clair.
You'd like.
Sorry?
I'm going to try and get you some samples of Le Galion because they have some really nice summery style colognes. Like Whip. I don't know if you've tried Whip or Eau Nobile.
Don't think I've tried that.
You'd like. I'll let you try them. They're very. I mean, they are very nicely made, very classic smelling. Sort of. I mean, Whip is from what 1950 something. Obviously, it's been a bit reformulated, but apparently it's. And I have smelled actually a small mini of the vintage, and it's actually in very good condition. but I think you might like them. Very dry as well. That sort of
Yeah,
dry citrus, that herbal quality, you know, like the basil rosemary thing going on in there, oak mossy base. I think you like them. I'll get you some samples of those.
yeah. This Kelowna Finale is very like. Do you know when you use a soap and it dries your skin?
Oh, do you like Imperial leather soap?
Yeah, it's got that. Um,
Yeah,
it's got that.
yeah. I like the sound of that. JP, which aqua de palma is best on a hot summer day? I love Kelowna Futura. I know some people don't like it, but I really like that one. Again,
Sorry, which one? Oh, the Futura, the Agua de Palma.
yeah, you tried it actually when I was
I
in
did,
London.
and I was very impressed. I'll give you that. I was very impressed by that perfume.
It's nice.
Um,
The
it
dry
is.
and
It's
sort of,
minty.
it's lovely.
It's got a minty vibe to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say it's slightly mentholated, but it's not too minty.
It's not. It's minty, but not too minty.
No, for me, like if you didn't mention the mint, you wouldn't pick it up, if that makes sense. Do you know it's like some notes of the power of suggestion, and then
Yes.
oh, I get it now, but it wasn't obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this Colonia Futura, I wouldn't mind getting my nose on that again. Like the, I'm sure it had mint, but it could have been the vetiver. You know,
Yeah, there's
it
rose
could have been Colonia
and rosemary can
Futura.
have a mentholated smell. It's supposed to
Yes.
be 99% natural or something ingredients or natural derived. I don't really care. But one thing I know is it just smells nice, really nicely made. It's
Fucking Francois Demarche made it. It's fucking shit.
oh shit, did he?
He did, I.
Do you know what might be his best work?
It's not far off. I can tell you. It's a fucking.
Like,
It's
it won't blow people's socks off. I'm not going to say it's people are going to go, well, it's but I think for a cologne, it's quite nice, and I enjoyed it. It's very dry as well, which I like.
yeah, yeah. It's. I'm sort of struck by this Kelowna Finale, but how dry it is. It reminds me a bit of Lord of the Man.
I love
It's
it. Smells lovely. Okay, I kind of. Do you know what? That actually sounds very nice.
it's
That
not
type.
as citric. It's not as citric. It's
Okay.
not as citric as it's more soapy. It's drier actually, but I get a dryness from Lauder for Men as well. Lauder.
Interesting. But that's not a bad thing for me. Something that's less citric is not always a worst thing. If it's like soapy, more dry, I don't mind. That sounds intriguing.
It's extremely soapy. I didn't realize that was the main note. You know what I mean? But that's exactly what it is. It's like it's that kind of when you breathe something in and it dries the back of your throat.
Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, it's got that to it. It's this sort of cleansed, like dry, almost desiccated kind of thing, like dried rather than just dry. Like
Yeah,
when something is wet and then dries out and then it keeps getting drier and drier and drier to the point where it's almost like where it becomes like inflexible because it's so dry. It
yeah.
becomes stiff and like I'm thinking like clothes and stuff like that.
Mm. Do you know that
Um,
type of thing is nice and really, that really sweaty weather because that dryness,
yes,
it's nice because it sort of takes away from that moisture in the air. It's just like it really works.
it's got this. got this kind of like greenness to it as well. You know, it's like this kind of, I can't explain it. You'd have to smell it when you come over. I'll keep the sample. I might have a bottle by then. You never know, because it's a lot of ferment. The only thing I could sort of compare it to.
Yeah.
Like it's not even trying to. It's not even trying to fucking be like. What am I trying to say? It's not even trying to be balanced. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like dry, but then there's some sort of like relief. There's no relief in it. It's very dry. It's very starchy. You know.
Yeah. I like how it sounds, to be honest, because I do bat on how, because I like soapy as well. I mean, you know, I like Equipage,
Yeah.
which is a soapy fragrance. You know, I do like soapy notes. Again, aldehydes, which are usually caused by aldehyde.
Soapy. I don't know. Maybe it has got aldehydes in it. Like I say. I mean, I'm not the fucking material expert. You are.
Well, JP, someone mentioned something. Was it Pradi? Azamol as oranges. I like that one. I think you tried it, but you wasn't wowed. But I think it's nice.
Which one's this?
The Parfum d'Empire. It's Azamol as oranges. It's Azamol as orange. I like that one. Really, again, really bitter citrus. It's not too mossy in the base, to be fair. But it stays quite green. There's a bit of musk in there too.
A musky boy.
DJ's been AFK. What does that mean?
I don't know. He often has fucking like words that like turn into other words. Like sometimes struggle with the comments from DJ.
DJ words.
DJ words. Oh, away from keyboard.
Did you make that up, DJ? I've never heard
I've never heard that before. Maybe that's like a work term. Sounds like something you would say at work. You know what I mean? I've been away from keyboard. Outrageous.
God.
Pradeep says the same thing as well. These people know. Well, you can tell that I don't work behind a keyboard anymore.
I know why use a touch screen. Why are you away from the keyboard, DJ? Why?
Where were you?
How could you abandon your keyboard?
Point to Bone says we can both tell you haven't played any video games. It's more of a gaming term. I just play on PlayStation, to be honest with you. I don't play on PC. I think PC's off of work. I play with PlayStation. That's about it.
Rich just plays the power washing game.
I wish. I would get one of them.
Got into Farm Simulator.
Oh, fuck Farming Simulator. Fucking ruin my life, that. I'm going. I am going to dehydrate. Keep everybody busy. I'll be back.
Hello, Lily.
Lilla. Lils.
She's always. I feel Lily's always lurking. She's always there, ready to pounce. We just have to think of what to say to draw her in. I am geriatric, Crowley. I am an old tart. That's very well known now. Everyone used to think I'm an old woman because I am one. JP, do I have a signature scent? God, no. I'm trying to think. I mean, you know that whole thing, that romanticizing all the, you know, have you got a scent that someone remembers you by and stuff like that? I probably would be remembered smelling of a mess. Yeah, I'm kind of like, you know, them sort of women after a long night out and their makeup and eyelashes are everywhere. That's how my perfume life is. It's all over the place, and that's how people remember me. What are my top three? Ooh, no, it's not Shalimar. Samsara is definitely in my top three. The original Samsara. I actually got a little bit of the original Parfum. I love that scent. Um, I can't explain why. It's the type of scent that makes me feel like I had mummy issues or something with, because it just hits me in a spot I shouldn't be hitting. Um, what else? I love Abbey Rouge. I love Equipage. I'd put those in my top three. Thank you. I have a very nice and calming voice. Tell that to Rich. He gets really agitated with my voice notes. Um, he gets all the good content. He's spoiled. How many fragrances do I own? Too many. Joking. Never too many. Yeah, Shalimar, lovely. I love Shalimar. It's probably in my top 10.
Right?
Jura Old Lady, what does that mean you like Kashmir Miss?
Shalimar shite.
Bobby, I'm shaking my head with my blue rinse at you. I'm a blue rinse with the mints.
Blue Mensa.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where are we?
JP, you do need to get your nose in Samsara.
It's shite. Oh no, Samsara's nice. Shalimar shite.
Do I like Mitsuko? I love Mitsuko. Actually, remember, I wore Mitsuko to Newcastle when you said it smelled amazing on me. Dude, I know I'm a tart because I suit tart fragrances. They smell great on me. Okay, like
Do you smell opium?
yes, anything like that. When I put it on my skin, everyone says, "Wow, I can really smell it on you." They connect with me.
Yeah.
Yes, Doc does love
Horrendous.
Lilion. He showed me his big bottle. I
Who?
should, you showed me your big Lilion bottle. He's
I
hitting
don't
on
have
me.
a big Leon bottle, you liar.
He does. I've seen it. I can verify. I've been there. So
You're a bad man.
the Leon Sport for Rich.
The Leon Sport?
What could you imagine?
No.
That would have a even have a massive lemon note in the top note, wouldn't it?
That's horrible. That's very, very horrible.
Should we just look at some of the comments a bit? Because we don't shut up, and we should just hear what other people have to say.
What do other people want to say?
Carl, yes, he does.
No, I don't.
He keeps them in the central bank.
I do not have backup bottles of the Leon. I do not have one bottle of the Leon. I don't like it. Carl wants to know how many fragrances you own.
I'd say actually not as much as you'd lot would think. I'd say about 90.
90.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us some of them?
Habit Rouge, Equipage, okay, I'm trying to think. Pour Monsieur, number 18. 31 Rue Cambon. They're number 5. They're my Chanels. What else? Guerlain, I have Samsara, Abbey Rouge, Guerlain Vetiver. I have L'Homme Idéal, the Extreme. I have. God, they're leaving me. I should show my fragrances on streams one time, shouldn't I?
You should. We should do a stream where we go through Jura Rose's collection.
I do not have
That would
Uncut
be.
Gem, Enrique. Oh no, sorry. I thought Enrique said I have Uncut Gem. Wait, what did Bryce say Uncut Gem smells like again?
I don't know, but I imagine it was shite.
No, he said something. It was something you liked. Oh, what was
Oh, the horrible man.
it? What was it again? Pradeep, I was generally going to recite 90 perfume because I was that kind. Um, uh, what did I get up to? I got to about 12. So what else? I'm joking.
What
Uncut
have
Gem
you?
is so creamy and uninspired. Sounds
I
like a
just think
chocolate.
it's. I just think it's an abomination. I just think it's shit as fuck.
That sounds like Demashid, doesn't it? Creamy and uninspired. Um, I don't have New York Intense. I've never smelt New York Intense.
I've smelled New York Intense. I wasn't impressed.
Didn't
I
like
just
it.
wasn't
And
impressed at all.
who else loved that? Luca Turin used to bat on about that one, didn't he?
Enrique says, "How is Uncut Gem selling in the shop?"
I don't think it's selling good for anyone, to be honest. It's expensive, you know. It's the same price as
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
So Portrait of a Lady, I think the RRP soon, because the prices are going up again, I think, at the end of this month.
Yeah,
Globally.
Joe.
Globally, yeah. I think Portrait of a Lady RRP will be 330, which is the
Oh,
same RRP as an Amouage.
dear me.
So yeah, Mal they're very. I mean, and it's been. I mean, there's issues with them. Like some of the bottles. Be careful when you buy them. The bottles when you get them are all a bit wonky. Um, there's something going wrong with their standards.
I
Really
mean,
is.
they are owned by LVMH, aren't they?
Estee Lauder, is it?
Is it Estee Lauder? That's unusual.
Is it Estee Lauder LVMH? I forgot now. I think it's Estee Lauder. People
I mean,
confirm.
I thought it was.
I'm
I
having
thought
a.
it was LVMH. To be honest.
Because I would have said Estee Lauder, but you've thrown me off. It's Estee Lauder, yeah, it is. Pradeep has a wrench. Okay, we must trust him.
What's
Trust
Brody
those with the
doing?
wrench. It's like a wand.
What's he saying?
Estee Lauder.
All right. Okay. Um. Well, it's coming up to the 2 hour mark, and that is my limit.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the Sentinel Pep has a stream starting with Henna from Canadian Beauty Blog, and that has just started. So when this stream is finished, I will hope to see you all over there. But Jura Rose, do you have anything resembling final statements?
I would like to say, after everything we've said, do not take us too seriously. We are just two rambling tarts talking about something we love.
You speak for yourself.
Okay, I'll speak for myself. I am just a rambling tart all over the place. But yeah, if you love a perfume and you want to pay for it, don't let that deter you. Don't let someone influence you and tell you what you should and shouldn't like. You know, go out there and
Yeah.
try it yourself. God, I should be like a motivational speaker in the perfume community if I keep speaking like this.
I would say that a perfume is worth what you are willing to pay for it.
Yes.
Right. And it's your money and you should do whatever you want. I just think that this discussion is a discussion worth having. There is every possibility that when I get this sample from Les Indomptables that I will smell it and buy it immediately, the same as I did with Ambra Supreme. So, I mean, it's still €220 is a lot of money for 50 mils, and I just think it's worth saying that. I just think that bears having an outing as an opinion. You know, there's totally stand by the fact that there is no downward pressure on perfume prices, and that we should all be looking to get the most for our money. I do love Les and Demadaba, so I really hope that if they do hear this, which I doubt, but if they do, that they don't think I'm being a dick, or if I'm not being a dick on purpose to them. There are many much worse. There are brands doing much worse things, like, I mean, the usual suspects, you know.
Yeah.
But there we are.
We can criticize brands, but I don't think we can criticize what people want to do with their money. You know, there's two different things.
Yeah, it's about getting value for money. You know.
Yeah, just love perfume. If you love perfume, continue loving what you love and do what you love.
Yes. Okay then, friends. That has been me, and that has been Jura Rose. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for commenting and watching and subscribing and liking. If liking streams is the type of thing that you like to do, don't let me or Jura Rose stop you from liking this one. It has been 2 hours of great fun. We've been trying to do this for a couple of weeks. I'm going to try and get Eugene on here at some point, because I haven't streamed with Eugene for a while. And it's about time he appeared on my channel. So we'll see about that, shall we? Hello, Eugene, by the way. Yes, like the stream for Eugene. If not for me or Jura Rose, like it for Eugene. But anyway, I hope to see you all. I hope to see you all over on the Sentinels stream that he's doing with Hannah. I hope you all have a lovely Friday or Saturday, and I will see you all again soon.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.